Okay, so sometimes it can be nice to add some context with a base map. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna add a base map to my map in ArcGIS Pro, and I'm gonna add a dark one. Now, like the first thing you can check out when you want to add a base map is to go to the map tab and then check out the base map options that you have in ArcGIS Pro. Now, in my case, they are a bit limited due to the organization I'm a part of. And if they don't appeal to you, like they might be too detailed, you don't want that much information in your base map, there are other easy options. So if we go to the catalog and we don't take a look at your project, but we rather take a look at the portal, which shows you all kind of online resources, whether it's things you've made on your own in ArcGIS Online or it's a part of the Living Atlas, which among other things include a lot of things that Esri provide. And I, for example, want to add, well, I want a dark background. So I happen to know that if I search for a dark gray canvas, I might find something. And in this case, I'm not gonna prefer this one, but this one, because I happen to know that I prefer that one. There are subtle differences. Now, the difference between base and reference is that base is the map itself, while reference is the text that's put upon the map. And they are vector tile layers, so they are scalable. So the text, like the selection of what is labeled and the size of the text is adjusted based on your scale. Very handy when you work with web maps. So I right click on the dark gray canvas space and I add to current map. And it's so beautiful. And there is one slight problem now. And that is that the standard color schemes that you would use in a choropleth maps don't really work with a dark background, because if there is one underlying principle behind all data visualization, it's really contrast. And you want your most significant values, in this case the highest values, to stand out from the background as much as possible. And since the dark background is dark, it's bright colors that stand out the most. But we learn that we use dark saturated colors to symbolize high values and neutral, muted, and bright colors to symbolize low values. That's how we usually think. But with a dark background, it's the opposite. Well, saturated colors are still associated with high values, but in terms of the brightness, we need bright colors to symbolize high values. So we want a color scheme where high values are associated with bright and saturated colors and low values with dark and muted colors. And this doesn't work like that at all. So one way you can find those, because you don't have those by default in your symbology. One great resource for that is that you can Google, of all things, ArcGIS and JavaScript. And if you just go to the first result here, to overview, and you go to data visualization here on the side, and Esri color ramps, then you can go here and we can search for color schemes that are dark and sequential. And we want, well, let's say 6 colors. And we can always have it colorblind friendly. Then we can search. And wait a little bit. It didn't work now. So I have already done this once, so let's take a look at the results here. Then you can see how the colors work with a dark background. So then you can simply take the values from here and copy paste them into ArcGIS. I've already done that, so if we go to symbology here, to the color scheme, and I pick, let's say, this one, then it's a much more intuitive color use when our base map is dark. Now, if you want to make your own color scheme, you can open the color scheme here, and then select Format Color Scheme. And then you can go in here, change colors as you want, and you can save it as a new style then you can find among the color schemes. Ta-da!